everyone, welcome to this episode of The Bearded Apologist. Today I'm taking a look at an issue that many skeptics have long raised against the reliability of the Bible, and it has to do with the Genesis account of the worldwide flood and Noah's Ark. Now, there have been a lot of reasons that people have come out and said that there's no way that this could have happened. A lot of criticisms have been levied at the story in the Bible. But today I want to look specifically at this idea that there was not enough water on earth to cover the tops of the mountain peaks and then some, as it's recorded in Genesis. And we'll also take a look at some newly discovered scientific evidence that appears to confirm the biblical account that yes, there was in fact enough water to actually cover the entire planet in a global worldwide flood. So to give an example of some of the criticism that has been raised regarding the amount of water on Earth and whether it could have actually provided enough water for a global flood, this article that was published on Medium about 7 years ago, I believe, the writer did some calculations, and these are numbers that he came up with. He said there had to be 813,875,076 cubic miles of rain for the biblical flood. To put that in perspective, the oceans have about 321 million cubic miles of water. All the water on Earth only adds up to about 332,500,000 cubic miles. So, and then this is his conclusion. So for the biblical flood to have happened, the water on Earth had to miraculously multiply by about 250%. So in other words, based on this article and based on the math that this individual did, there would need to have been about 2.5 times as much water as there is on Earth to make the global flood happen. So it sounds like based on that, there just simply wasn't enough water. And this is not an isolated criticism. This is not an isolated account. There are many other people over the years who have argued that there simply was not enough volume of water on the Earth to make the global flood possible. But a recent discovery is providing evidence that there was in fact enough water after all to make the global flood happen. Let's take a look.
Scientists have found an ocean under the Earth's surface, a massive one at that. Sounds staggering, right? Let me tell you all about it. The discovery has been made some 700 kilometers deep into the Earth. The ocean lies just above the lower mantle in something called the mantle transition zone. The water is present in a rock known as ringwoodite. And do you know how big this ocean is? About 3 times the volume of all the planet's oceans combined. So if you take all of the Earth's oceans and triple them, that is the amount of water discovered inside the Earth. Now, according to the findings presented in a 2014 scientific paper, the water cycle extends deep into the Earth's interior. Scientists believe the oceanic crust slides under adjoining plates of crust and sinks into the mantle, carrying water with it. They have now concluded that there is a mantle transition zone that acts as a large reservoir of water. That is because the minerals in this zone have a high water storage capacity. Consider ringwoodite. The rock in which the ocean has been found, it has a crystal structure that attracts hydrogen. It is basically like a sponge which soaks up water. Researchers also studied earthquakes to make this discovery. They deployed an extensive network of 2,000 seismographs across the US and scrutinized seismic waves emitted by over 500 earthquakes. You see these waves traveling through Earth's inner layers experience deceleration when passing through damp rock, and this indicated that there is indeed an extensive water reservoir inside planet Earth. Now that the ocean has been unearthed, it challenges our understanding of the source of Earth's water. All this while we thought water circulated between the atmosphere, surface water bodies and the underground water table. But we never knew that it was present deep inside the Earth as well.
So as you can see from this video, this discovery, if it's true, would mean that the amount of water inside the Earth is about 3 times the amount of water on its surface. And that's a massive amount. There is also an article from the Weather Channel, and there's other articles out there you can find online. And this article concludes this regarding the discovery. It says, this discovery completely rewrites our understanding of Earth's water cycle. It suggests water isn't just a surface phenomenon, but potentially exists within the mantle, migrating through cracks and crevices. Jacobson, who is, I believe, the researcher who was cited in this article, emphasizes the importance of this reservoir, stating, without this internal water source, Earth's surface would likely be a barren landscape with only mountain peaks peeking out from a vast ocean. Now, what does this have to do with the Genesis account of a global flood and Noah's Ark? Well, let's take a look actually at how that played out according to Genesis. This is from Genesis 7:11 through 12. And in it we read, in the 600th year of Noah's life, in the second month, on the 17th day of the month, on that day, all the fountains of the great deep burst forth, and the windows of the heavens were open, and rain fell upon the earth 40 days and 40 nights. You see, when people talk about Noah's flood or Noah's Ark and the global flood and so forth, they always focus on the rain. They don't talk about so much this idea of water coming up from the great deep, but that's reported right there in Genesis 11. The fountains of the great deep burst forth. Now, I would say that if there is in fact water in the mantle of the earth, that's 3 times the volume of water that's on the surface. Well, number one, that qualifies as coming from the great deep. And number two, that seems to exceed the mathematical numbers that Medium article writer was talking about, because he's looking at his numbers and saying, well, there needs to be about 2.5 times as much water. Apparently, this discovery is that there is 3 times as much water in the Earth's mantle as there is in all the oceans on the surface of the Earth. So, assuming all this is true and that continuing research, confirms it, this is another example of how man's increasing knowledge about the world does in fact confirm biblical accounts. A lot of people over the years have said there just isn't evidence for this, there isn't evidence for that, but it seems that the more we learn about life on Earth, the more we learn about the universe and the planet itself, it just seems to confirm that yes, the account of Genesis is in fact reliable. We can have faith. We can believe that it happened. It's not unreasonable to say that there was a global flood. Now, I'm not saying that's going to always convince everybody that there was in fact a global flood. I'm not saying it's going to convince everyone that Genesis is an accurate account of the events that happened with respect to Noah and the global flood and so forth. It is interesting that there are other cultures in the world that report a global flood right around the same time. But the main point is that believing in the Genesis account of a global flood in Noah's Ark is not unreasonable. And it seems that scientific evidence has once again confirmed that fact. Just want to take a look at this issue, and I'd love to know your comments on this. Leave a comment, let me know what you think, and we'll take a look at it, and we'll get back with you soon with our next video. Thank you all for watching.